Welcome back to God's Golden Acres. I'm Kim, and I said last video I need to get up earlier, and I am, sort of. I'm actually just did an easier breakfast and a quicker lunch made for the kids for time management reasons, and now I'm moving hoses. And I have about 10 minutes before we need to leave for school drop-off, and I'm going to totally trip myself up. But I'm going to get a sprinkler set up over by where I've planted some spinach seeds and where I have still tomatoes and stuff that I'm hoping to get a few more tomatoes off of because they're struggling. But the strawberries over here behind me, you can kind of see. It's better with the naked eye rather than the camera eye. Really taken off. It took me about 5 minutes to move the hose. Honestly, I just sometimes feel weak. Ugh. Now we've got the sprinkler going. It's turned it on for me. They kind of like that job. Alright, so it'll hit the Sheboygans. I'll have to do the Abe Lincoln when we get back. Although the Abe Lincoln will get some. All of my yellows will get some. I mean, obviously the ones right next to it are going to get the most of it. Those are the ones that are doing the best too. And then over here, let's see, it'll hit the pumpkin, which I'm hoping will take off, and I can sell pumpkins at the farmer's market. We have a really teeny tiny farmer's market. For this first year, 1 or 2 pumpkin plants will be enough. And then, honestly, there's actually nothing over there. I pulled out my pepper plants already. They were just struggling. So, drop-off usually takes us about an hour. So that'll run for an hour. I'll turn that off. I will hand get everywhere else when we get back. And I should not be hitting past 9 o'clock. I don't really like to water after 10. Our limit is 11 though, on days that things need watered because we're in a drought. So we have a lot of days where we're watering everything. And it's a lot to do. Trees need done again today. Those I'm not as concerned because I just dumped them on the roots. You know, there's no leaves real low that you're going to burn leaves off. So those will probably be the last, and we're going to be hitting close to 10:30, 11 o'clock for that probably. We're back. School drop-off is always fairly quick. And it actually did a way more space than I thought it would over here. So you can see I got pretty much all of that broccoli area that I planted the other day. It's gotten some of the brandywines over here, and it's gotten all the way over here to the paste tomatoes. That's doing pretty good. So then I'll just hand water a couple other spots and this will be done. Brought this pig out. Scraps. I've been doing jellies, so all the stems and stuff. And he's just going crazy. Oh, of course he calmed down once I pulled out. He was like literally running laps around his pen. I've got your grain. Are you hungry? Just got the strawberries watered again. They're really starting to put off runners. Thankfully, we really need the runners. And everything's watered today. So I think that resets us. They've now put rain in for Sunday. Like a 40% chance, so not really anything. And we've not got rain with any of the 40% chances we've had for the last 3 months. So we'll see how that goes. Is it your turn to get food? Do you think I got something for you? I've got 2 containers. Fed the dog, fed the pig. Is it your turn? I'm gonna do a video on how to tell if it's a drought. And I might still be able to do that because one rain probably won't fix the ground, but it looks like it's gonna rain actually. I think that's the most cloud cover we've had in a month. Which, of course, Andrew's mowing before it rains. It really wasn't that tall. There was some weeds, like we have buckwheat in our yard, and he wanted to mow that down before everything just like went extremely tall from the rain. We actually believe it might do it. What do you think, Liz? Hey, what do you think? Oh, goodness bear. It's actually raining. Pretty hard too. Wished it would have been a nice gentle rain for 4 days, but I'll take it. It's cooling down a lot too since it started raining. Although it feels wonderful. I'm getting misty vibes from the rain hitting the porch. And I'm like, half of me wants to like pull a Drew Barrymore and like just like go running through the rain, and half of me's like, that will be freezing cold. I'm debating. Probably won't happen because I get cold easily, but you're like, oh man, you like love Wisconsin? Yes, I love Wisconsin and I love snow, but I get cold easily and I love blankets, I love hot cocoa and hot tea. So it's definitely a hot tea night. We did up getting about an inch of rain last night, which isn't super great. Like, it's already starting to dry pretty well. But it did loosen stuff up just enough that it's not so hard. We couldn't plow our next strawberry patch, which we're prepping for next spring to be planted. So it's windy. So we're plowing it up now. We'll till it later. Maybe wait till spring, but probably not. Or hopefully it won't be too dry or too wet the rest of the fall. Oh, you got it. I just started the video. Of course you got it. Alright, it's about time I finish this video. I ended up babysitting for my sister. So I've been off farm for a few days. And we're gonna do a real quick how to tell if you're in a drought. So you'll want to find a patch of fairly like flat, not too much grass, which will, of course, mess with the seal when you flip the cup upside down. And of course you lose a little bit of water. And so this is actually cracked dirt. So we're gonna get some bubbling. But it doesn't normally bubble like that. Like, that's literally air coming out of the ground that shouldn't be there. So you can see cracks here, right? You're not going to get a good seal. If you're before the cracking stage, this water won't leave. We are to the cracking stage, which is also why we're struggling so badly. Hi, heart. This is not normal. This is not usually how that goes. Although in the desert, that's how it would go. But you can also see how it kind of hangs out on top here. And if I, like, it won't, I can't even dig down. So this top layer has mud, but it won't actually soak into the ground. So those bubbles, oh, that was weird. Those bubbles are just the water going in those cracks. It is not actually being absorbed by the ground. So the ground is hydrophobic, so it won't absorb water. A good example over here under this tree is there's some giant cracks. You can really see them well. And this is all drought symptoms. A lot of times when you're early drought, when you do this jar system to see, it'll just stay on top because the ground is hydrophobic and won't absorb it. And you get that little bit top of mud and then it's done. So, and we're past that point. And it's been a struggle. Our poor strawberries, I don't know if they're going to survive winter, just simply because they're so weak with lack of rain and poor soil due to no rain. Like, minerals can't move through the soil if there's no water for the roots to suck it up. So it doesn't matter. And we're to the point where it almost doesn't matter if we water, because the ground, like, there's some spots I've been like trying to kind of break up the soil and like work the water into the soil, and we're literally getting cracks underneath the ground. And so even if you make a little hole, so hopefully, because eventually the water will stop being hydrophobic and absorb the water, even if you make a hole, the ground underneath is so dry that it has tunnels, and the water's going to the pond, presumably, because that's the lowest point. So we'll see for the strawberries next year. I really, really hope we do. We put a lot of work into them. Granted, not too expensive. We can definitely restart without like losing our butts. But it's a struggle. And one, that's not gonna be a very productive patch compared to what we're used to from the farm we worked on before. Which, it's all learning experiences. And I guess, like, who would have predicted a drought this bad? Everywhere around us has actually gotten more rain. Our county technically isn't in a drought. Our town is in a drought. Like, that's not common. And it's so bad that nobody had tomatoes at the farmer's market yesterday because there's no ripe tomatoes because there's no water. So they're not ripening because they're not growing. It's really, really difficult. And when you've got Amish saying they can't grow tomatoes, it's bad. And the southern wind is picking up, making it hotter, making it drier. So we do have a watering system that we need to put in, but we have to fix the pump first. And it'll pump water from our pond, which is really good for plants too, because it'll bring in nutrients. So this will be in next year, because we're waiting on parts, just like everyone's waiting on parts. The dog's got something over there in the barn. Well, thanks for being with us. Hi, May. If you want to follow along with our journey, hit that subscribe button. And I better go check out what that dog's going crazy over it. There's been a groundhog. She might have it trapped. Thanks for being with us today. We're praying for you. God bless.